Welcome friends to another video lecture. Today lecture 7 will study about the denaturation of DNA. In previous lecture we studied about the experiment as DNA is the genetic material proved by scientists Hershey and Chase. Today we will study about the property of denaturation of DNA. Now if you had remembered, in first two lectures we studied about the structure of nucleic acid, the structure of DNA, and from there we find that the stability of DNA double helix is mainly dependent on two properties. What were those two properties? First one is the hydrogen bonding. Remember, the hydrogen bonding present between each bases, the nitrogen bases. Adenine is paired with thymine by 2 hydrogen bonds and guanine with cytosine by 3 hydrogen bonds. And another very important component of the DNA stability is base stacking effect. These two properties contribute to the stability of DNA molecule. Denaturation is a process by which the double helical conformation of DNA molecules is lost and the DNA becomes single stranded. So the denaturation is defined as a process by which double stranded DNA is separated as single stranded DNA. So this is the denaturation of DNA is a process by which double stranded DNA molecule is separated to a single stranded molecule. See, this is a double stranded DNA molecule inside of which are hydrogen bonds between the bases. See, in this DNA molecule, if these internal hydrogen bonds are broken, then this DNA fragment becomes single stranded. They simply open due to the breakage of internal hydrogen bonds. This is a double stranded DNA that is separated into single stranded DNA. The two DNA strands become separated. Why separated? Because the internal hydrogen bond present between each bases is broken down. But remember, the denaturation of DNA does not mean that the breakage of covalent bonds within the DNA. Within the DNA, the hydrogen bonds are broken. See, each DNA molecule is two-stranded. That two strands are joined together by hydrogen bond between the strands. If hydrogen bond is broken, then the two strands become open or separated. This is known as the denaturation of DNA. As you can think that G triple bonds here, 3 hydrogen bonds are present. Okay, so in any DNA content where G triple bond C content is larger amount as compared to A double bond T, that DNA is also very much having higher denaturation point, as the G111C3 hydrogen bond, it needs more energy to break that bonds as compared to A paired with T by 2 hydrogen bonds. That's why you can see in many times, just in the case of DNA replication, when double-stranded DNA molecules are separated, means when DNA molecule opens, they mostly open in AT rich sequences, as that is more energetically favorable to open the DNA double helix. Okay, so in any DNA that contains higher GC point content also have higher melting point. Here I introduced a new word, melting point of DNA. So what is DNA melting point? The melting point of DNA is denoted by Tm, is defined as a temperature T at which half, means almost 50% of the DNA becomes single-stranded. Okay, so Tm, or the melting point of DNA, is a temperature at which half the DNA or 50% of the DNA becomes single-stranded. Okay, so this is the melting point of DNA. Generally, the DNA with higher GC content have higher melting point. This is the basic. So temperature, every species DNA does not mean that they all have same melting point or melting temperature. Upon the variation of species, the melting point of DNA is different for every species. Generally our DNA is denatured around 90 degrees centigrade. Okay, if you see the denaturation curve of DNA, see, this is a curve of denaturation of DNA upon the basis of temperature. As the temperature increases, the DNA becomes more and more denatured. It's just like the effect of temperature on the structure of globular proteins. Now here a question arises. Here is a short information. Suppose any DNA molecule that have AT content as well as GC content. Okay, so in that case of DNA, if we carry out denaturation process in controlled environment, only if we open the regions that are rich in AT sequences, then there is a bubble formation within the DNA. Remember this point. If we open DNA double strand by controlled denaturation only in the regions where AT rich sequences are present, there is a bubble formation within the DNA. And After denaturation, if the bases are again taken together as close proximity, they can again join together by forming hydrogen bases, hydrogen bonds between the complementary base pairs. So the process is completely reverse of that of denaturation, is called as renaturation. Renaturation. So renaturation is a process. Renaturation is a process by which DNA double helix which was broken down can again join back. This is known as renaturation, and the process is also called annealing. This occurs at room temperature. So the DNA molecule after denaturation, if it was allowed to cool at room temperature, the bases can again form hydrogen bond between them, and this is known as the renaturation of DNA. This have a practical implication in the PCR experiment. Okay, clear? So this was the basis of denaturation. Now when the renaturation occurs, here is a simple concept. Just remember, suppose this was a DNA that was completely separated. So in the case of completely separated DNA molecule, the renaturation process occurs in 2 steps. But in the case of partially separated DNA molecules, the renaturation process occurs in a single step. Okay? Now, at the end of this lecture, you can see the graphical representation of DNA melting point based on the GC content, as well as the DNA molecule thread like the vision in electron microscope. Okay, so this was denaturation and renaturation. Beside temperature, there are also certain factors that can cause denaturation of DNA, just like ionic strength, pH, and salt concentration, that is directly associated with ionic strength. See, in any DNA molecule, as the ionic strength increases, the melting point increases. Means ionic strength is proportional to the DNA melting point. In covalently closed DNA, double-stranded DNA, the pi electron sharing occurs that causes lower absorbance. So as the ionic strength, suppose in high salt concentration, the phosphate groups that carry a negative charge are shielded. Okay, so as the ionic strength lowers, most of the phosphate are unshielded. So what happens? There is a deprotonization occurs, mainly repulsions. Okay, so and also another factor for denaturation can be achieved by pH. Just remember, DNA main in the more than 10 pH, DNA denatured due to deprotonation, and anything lower than 3 pH range of 3 acidic, it also denatured due to reprotonation. Okay, this was all. And another important point, just you have to remember, this is very much important for CSI and NET and GATE, the term known as hyperchromic shift. What is hyperchromic shift? See, if any DNA molecule is denatured, then how can we know that this DNA molecule is denatured? For that, we simply have hyperchromic shift. After denaturation, UV absorption increases 260 nanometer. By reading the absorbance of UV light under spectrophotometer, we can really decide either this DNA is denatured or not, because the denatured DNA show maximum absorbance of UV light at 260 nanometer, which is much more, almost 40% higher than double-stranded DNA molecule. So this is an experimental proof that DNA is denatured, and the phenomenon is known as hyperchromic shift. And why this hyperchromic shift occurs? Because when the bases are stacked together, they show pi electron sharing via pi electron cloud. But as they are free, they absorb more and more UV light. Okay, so this was all for today. In next class, we'll start about the Michelson and Stahl experiment of semi-conservative replication. Okay, if you have any doubt, then please mention in comment section. Thank you.